and perseverance in film production panel at the Afro Comic Con Virtual 2020 event. And thank you for joining us. Please consider donating to the Afro Comic Con Moonshot Junior program that funds young girls of color to go through a 12-month program where they will learn tech skills, innovation, product development, and entrepreneurship. Just click on the donation link. Any amount will help. And you can find more information on the Afro Comic Con website. Angelique Fawcette is the CEO of Archangel Films LA and NV. And most recently, she was the executive producer and co-star and handled the casting of the film Unbelievable, the movie. The sci-fi comedy stars Snoop Dogg, Robert Davi, Michael Madsen, Nichelle Nichols, Gilbert Gottfried, and 42 actors from Star Trek. She also produced her first feature film soundtrack by hiring the last living composer from the original series, Gerald Fried, and employing a 29-piece live orchestra to work with him. The film is now available on Amazon Prime. Angelique's background is in the corporate fields of defense contracts at Raytheon, investigations, and finance. She is also an elder abuse activist, a homeless concerns advocate, and an active member of the NAACP and an executive member of Women in Film. And Angelique is now also a director, directing her first with questions for you, Angelique. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Thank you so much, Ian. I'm so glad to see you. And hello, Afro Comic Con world. It is so wonderful to see you, especially during COVID. You know, I think, you know, it's so wonderful that the organization is doing this virtually. And I commend Afro Comic Con for all the hard work they've put into this. When there's a will, there's a way, and the determination to get this done is awesome. So I'm really, really very happy to be here and happy to say hello to everyone. And Ian, I've known Ian for many years, and Ian is just a wonderful guy, and I'm just so happy to see you. You're on a different coast than I am.
It's crazy the age we're in that we're doing this. I'm seeing more of you now, literally and figuratively, than before because of what's going on in the world right now.
Yes, exactly.
So let me jump in with a question. Let's talk background first. What compelled you to get into the entertainment business? And as a woman, and particularly as a woman of color, how confident or doubtful were you that you'd get or create the opportunities that you sought?
Well, I was never doubtful. Sometimes things come to you in a way in which you just know your whole life. I always knew that whatever I put my heart into and my time into, there was a reason for that. I'm not one of those doubting people. If I want to do it, I'm going to go after it, which I think there's a lot of us out here in the world are like that. You know, you put your time into it. As a Black woman, it's been a journey. It's been a journey being a producer, an executive producer, and a CEO in this industry. It's not that it's all negative. A lot of it is super positive. I have an amazing crew that continues to work with us because of the way that we treat them. We treat them with love and respect, honor. I'm the CEO, I'm the producer, but I'm on the set sweating right along with them. I think, you know, you just live your life in a certain kind of positive, optimistic, treat others the way you want to be treated way, and you get the best results from that. You're always going to get the best results from it.
Now, you produced Unbelievable, which, as we said, stars Snoop Dogg and a ton of Star Trek actors, and even your dog. I don't know if Lola's around or not.
She is. Lola's in the other room.
There you go. And your husband, Steve, wrote and directed the film, and the two of you spent years, literally years, getting this made. How proud are you of yourself and your team for pulling it off?
Well, thank you for saying that. That's just, you know, that's a deeper question than you know. It's not that you, or I'd say myself, I don't kind of sit and feel proud of myself. I just feel really grateful that I got it done, because when my husband and I first came into this industry, we were looked at as basically, we would call an agent and the agent would say, well, who the hell are you and why the hell should I be talking to you?
Right.
Oh, okay. So we are not going to be able to hire that actor through that agent. So my husband had the idea that we should just go to the conventions and start meeting actors. So we started going to conventions and we would meet a couple of actors and we kept going and going and we'd say, here's our script. We have this film, we have our funding, in which we ended up raising almost 4 million for. We have our funding. Would you like to be a part of our film? And thankfully, they said yes, and they kept saying yes. And then towards the end of what we thought was the end of this film, which wasn't, we started having Star Trek stars ask to be in this film. And we're like, what? This guy just told us, who the hell are you and why are you calling us? And here's these wonderful, beautiful, respected Star Trek actors asking to be in our film. We were just so honored. I will continue for the rest of my life to just be honored by the people who came on to our film. All of them, because all of them were amazing.
Now, I got to ask specifically about Snoop Dogg. And this isn't just a cameo. He's a genuine co-star in the movie. So the obvious question is, how the hell did you land him? A, and B, how did you enjoy working with this legend, this icon?
I really love Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is also an executive producer on our film, and a lot of people don't know that. But it's very interesting, when you're a woman, again, because, this is Afro Comic Con, so I want to talk about this. When you're a woman and you're Black, there's going to be so many people who tell you you cannot do it. I was coming back from a trip from Atlanta, and I actually had one of my partners in the car. And my husband and I were thinking about who can we get. Snoop Dogg had been on our list many, many years before, and we were like, maybe we could get Snoop Dogg. Why don't we just call him and let's just try to see if he'd be interested. And so we were all excited, and my husband and I, we banter back and forth. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get it. Yeah, he'll be perfect. He loves plants. He's gonna be great. We were all excited. And here's my partner waking up out of a sleep, another partner. And he's listening to us, and he said to me straight to my face, oh, he'll never work for you. And I was like, did you just say that to me? You just told me that he's not gonna work for me? How do you know that? You don't even know him. And so it was painful because this is someone that I thought respected me and appreciated me. This is a coworker, colleague. And I got over it, of course, but I did remember it. And, it's kind of a story that I'll have for the rest of my life. So I came back and I waited a little bit to see if someone else would help us hire him. But that was taking so long that I just said, you know what? I'm a producer. What am I thinking? I'm going to find Snoop Dogg. I'm going to go on the internet, figure out who his representation is, and do it. So that's what I did. I made the first phone call, left a message. I got a call back. And then by the third call, I was on the phone with Snoop Dogg's manager. I have a feeling he was there too, because I think I heard him say bye, right? But it was just really nice because in the process, we found out that this guy that my husband and I were all fired up about, he was actually a Star Trek fan. And I mean a major Star Trek fan. So we go and we meet Snoop Dogg and we go to his compound. And his compound, at first we thought, did he decorate this place for us? Because he had this big mural of Star Trek on the wall. And I'm like, he didn't do that for us. What am I thinking? And I was like, wait a second. Then we start looking at his conference rooms. It's Starship, Battleship. And then we go to his room and it's called the Mothership. And it was in the style and shape of the Star Trek bridge with a captain's chair. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is so synchronous. He was meant to be the lead of this film. And so we met him. He was a wonderful guy. We talked about it. He said he thought that this would be the next Up in Smoke. And he was just really happy to do our film. He was just a really genuine guy, and so we were so, so grateful to hire him and that he would say yes and that he would care so much. And then he came on set and did his role. We loved him.
And it looked like he was having a lot of fun. Was there anything he absolutely improvised himself, or was it all Steve's dialogue, or a little bit of both, maybe?
He pretty much went by the script.
Really?
He's like super, super on it. Like he did it. And I know it was just him. That was really him. I can't think of one line that he improvised. He just did it. He just made it his own.
Now I have
So
to ask, and you can deny this question if you care to, but he's known for his pot loving ways and he's got his alcohol. Did we have a drink? Did we smoke a blunt with the man at the end of the shoot?
no, because if I smoked weed, I would die.
Ah, okay.
I live on a natural high. I have like this natural high. I would just totally, I wouldn't make it. I would have been gone. I no, but I know. Yes, there was smoking on set, but that wasn't my situation. He was just a sweetheart to us, and we just, he came out. My main memory of Snoop Dogg is in on set was when he came out of his dressing room, his green room, because we shot at this big estate in Malibu, and I had designed his outfit, literally designed it, and then had someone draw it up, and then our actual wardrobe lady made it. And I handpicked the material because I'm like, this is going to be on Snoop Dogg. It has to be nice. It has to be beautiful velvet and silk. And went downtown LA, got the material myself. He came out and he stopped his whole entourage just to say, "Do you like it?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you look just the way that I wanted you to look," and gave him a big hug, and we were just happy. And it was just wonderful. It was just a wonderful experience to work with him. He was wonderful with Nichelle Nichols. He called her grandma.
Mm,
And he was just a really great guy to work with. Nice to everyone on set. He loved everyone on set. And he knew some of the people on our set too, because others had already worked with him, our DP and sound, hair and makeup, so
that's
it was
great.
a beautiful experience. Yeah.
Now, it probably wouldn't surprise anyone if a black female film producer found it difficult to gain respect from a cast and a crew on set. How do you go about, Angelique, commanding that kind of respect that you need to have to get your job done?
I command my respect by standing my ground. That's literally how I command my respect. But I also get respect because, as I was mentioning, I've worked with our crew, we usually work from about 45 people, and then on a heavy day, 120 people, crew members. And, I meet every crew member before they come on set. Say if I don't know them and we need new people in, I actually call them, I talk to them, and it's a lot of work, but I'd rather know who I'm working with and for them to know me and let them know what kind of, very friendly family style set, but yet professional set they're coming on to. I want them to know that they'll be respected. And, after a while, we got a really great reputation for treating people like kings and queens on our set. I did mix the actors and the crew together. I don't honestly care if studios and other people don't do that. I do that because we're all human beings, and that's how I chose to run it. So I would cater to my crew. I would make sure they had water. If they needed help moving stuff, I would do that with them. If there were personal issues, I was there for them. So you kind of just get respect because they actually know that you care about them. And I care tremendously about my crew. Without an amazing crew and without a talented, skilled crew, you can't make a film.
Right.
You can't make a film of any type of quality. So when the other people come towards you and they say, that they're coming after you because or coming for you, as you say, as I know this community understands, they're coming after you or coming for you as a Black woman. You know that intrinsically because we go through that every day, or every other day. We have people coming for us, and I get really professional. That's when my Raytheon background and my investigations of finance corporate background comes in, and I get really real with them. And I handle everything professionally, but if people don't do their job, and they're being unprofessional, well then thank you very much for your time, but you can't work with us. If you're offending, I've had people offend other people on set, other Black people on set. Thank you so much for your time. You can no longer work with us. It's just as simple as that. So I'm loving and caring, and that is absolutely necessary to have a beautiful, set day and a beautiful film. But you have to be assertive. And when the people look down on you, you just can't accept they're looking down on you. I just don't accept it. I just keep moving and I focus on the goal. And yes, there's always haters. They get mad because you're focusing on the goal, but you focus on the goal and you end up getting the project done.
Right. But
Simple as that.
there's a subset of that, Angelique, that I wanted to ask about, which is the closeted version of racism and misogyny that can happen throughout the various aspects of making a film, the scripting, the actual production, and then even getting it released later on at that point. So what's your experience with that, and how do you deal with that?
Well, the closeted version, they usually don't come out because they're in the closet, but then they slip. And when they slip, I handle it the exact same way. But, if they're offending me, or they're especially offending any of my crew or my actors, they get the same professional, I'm keeping it real. You got to get out
Mm-hmm.
because you can't work for me, you know. But I've also, on different levels, I have experienced a crew member, making comments, like that. I've also, even in the experience of looking for distribution, having a distributor tell me that Black people don't watch film any place other than Tubi where they can get it for free. Basically, they don't buy film; they just watch film for free on Tubi.
Right.
So I had to handle that in a very intense way too. And I just stepped back and said, I'm sorry. I'm a Black person. I've been, I've had wealth. I've been poor. I've been homeless before when I was a young girl, but never once have I watched a free movie. None of my friends who are bougie or live in the ghetto, I don't know anyone who's watched a free movie. And my stance was, did you not learn anything from Wakanda, from Black Panther? So, it does happen that you occasionally have to deal with people like that. But for the most part, you have a lot of really positive people, especially in a distribution area who they know film, they know our audience as Black people, they know the power of the Black dollar and how we recycle it and how we will show up for films such as Black Panther, or films that have a lot of Black people in it, or any film for that matter.
Right.
They understand the Black dollar. There's occasionally those people who are in the closet, and that's real unfortunate. My husband and I purposefully put a lot of different nationalities on our film. We actually have 6 people, 6 Black people in this film who are in, if not leading, supporting roles. I'm also in this film as well. We have Latinos, we have Asians, we have American Indians, we have Italians, we have everybody in here because we wanted to go with the spirit of inclusivity as well as the spirit of Gene Roddenberry when he actually had, the first Black woman, the first Asian male, and, people who were in a position of power that weren't normally shown on TV in a position of power. And we wanted to really go with that spirit. And we wouldn't have even made the film if we couldn't do that. We even have little kids, and our oldest people, we have the elderly as well. We really wanted to be inclusive. And I know with the rest of our films and the rest of our projects, we'll always be inclusive because that's the world. There's a whole bunch of everybody. But thank you for asking that question about those in the closet, because those in the closet do exist. And when they come out, they slip, and you're usually shocked.
And then I want to ask about what you just mentioned, which is you being in the film. You're an actor in addition to everything else you do. How naturally does that come, and how different are you on set when you're wearing your acting hat versus any of your other hats?
I'm not that different. I just switch up. From whatever hat I'm wearing when I have to stop producing that day, because I produced the days that I acted in as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually auditioned for my role in front of a group of investors who were like, "Oh yes, that I didn't just get this because my husband put me in or anything. I auditioned like a normal actor for my work." And so when I went on, I'd produce the day, but then I would tell people, my assistants or PAs, look, it's now 10:30. I have to go into hair and makeup. I cannot do any other producing. Please refer to my co-producer over here who will handle everything that I can't while I'm on set. And then I just switch up, and you get into character like any other actor would. You take the time to get where you need to get, and then you go on set and you handle your business.
And what kind of dynamic did you have with your husband, who was your director and writer? That must have been fascinating, especially on set.
Well, on set, I supported him on set because like any producer would do, he's the director, he has to get his shot. So I had to make sure that those shots were gotten. I had to make sure that, all of my actors were there on time. And, if they weren't, I would just follow up. I had made sure my crew were, everything was settled. But we had we're married, but we're also very professional. We work when we're working. I think the only time we relaxed was lunch, where neither one of us ate. Because we were like, we're just, okay, does everyone eat yet? Does everyone have food? Because we were more concerned that everyone, we care about our crew. So we're making sure that they're good first. And then maybe we'd have a little nibble. It got to a point where our food vendors would just hold food for us because they're like, we know you haven't eaten, Angelique. We know you haven't eaten, Steve. So here's your food. They were giving us little plates of food, little provisions. So
Just to keep you going.
Just to keep us going. But it was wonderful. It's hard to work with your husband. For any of you young ladies out there, it is challenging as all get out. But if you love him, you get it done.
Wait, I got to ask the follow-up. If I dragged Steve out here and said, how was it working with your wife? What would he say?
Let's see if he's dressed good enough. Hey, Steve, are you dressed good enough to go on camera? He's got, come on, Rollers. He's got his 5 o'clock shadow in, but here's Lullers. You want to say hi, Lolo?
Hi, honey.
He says, hi. Yeah, he would say the same thing, that it's absolute hell, but it's absolute beauty as well. I think that's why we've been able to work it through, and I cross my fingers on that. I never am any type of arrogant about that, because it's tough. To work together and to be married is tough work. But for the most part, 90% of the time, we totally agree. We are Aries. We're both, birthdays are right next to each other, and we think the same. So we're like, if that's not working, that's not working. That has to go. That has to go. That has to go. That works. That's wonderful. And we just have the same goals in mind,
Plus, it's a shared experience. And at the end of the day, you did it together.
Yes, exactly.
Now, let's take a serious turn. One of the stars of Unbelievable is the legendary Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek, of course, Lieutenant Uhura. She became a mother figure to you and very close to you and Steve. And you've become, in the end of all of this, a protector for her. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with Nichelle and how it's evolved since she got involved with you in your film.
Well, I met Nichelle back in 2012, and another actress actually introduced us to her. My husband was looking to hire actors for our film, and so we met her at this restaurant called Monty's in Woodland Hills. It was a restaurant that she loved. And I thought, well, this is nice. Well, we're going to meet Nichelle Nichols, and, we'll see if she wants to be in our film. But it wasn't anything more than that. And when we met her, though, she was just so amazing, and she was so cute, and she was so wonderful and beautiful. And we just ate and laughed and just seemed to have so much strangely in common. I mean, I'm 50 years old, she's well into her late 80s. And she's like, well, I definitely want to be a part of this film. And, so she became a part of the film. And we ended up becoming really wonderful friends. And I saw her go through a lot.
Do you want to discuss what you saw her go through?
I paused there for a minute because I saw her go through a lot.
Yeah.
I'll just put it this way, because I think most people know that she's going through an elder abuse case and a legal case. But you know what? The family's not always right. And I'm going to say that. The family is not always right. Just watch Discovery Channel and watch what happens to some people with their family members. People outside of the family are not always right either. And she asked me many years ago, when she was thrown in a rest home, to make sure that she was never thrown into that rest home again. So she had me make a video of her to state what she wanted in her final years. I said, Nichelle, what do you want me to do with this? She said, keep it. You'll know when to show it. You'll know when to share it. They'll listen to you. They'll listen to me, but they may not listen to you. I kept it, hoped I'd never have to share it. But unfortunately, as the world has gone around, I had to share it publicly as she asked me to. Without going into real depth of details, she has been abused. And I think people have seen it, whether it's on the internet and she is screaming for her life, or they have heard about her being taken from financially. I stand up for her because she is someone that I love. She ended up giving me away in marriage to my husband. I've been in hospitals with her. We've had great times together. We've talked together. I used to actually, she'd say, well, when are you coming over? And I'm like, okay, I'm coming over now. So I'd come over and I'd staying all night and I'd sleep on this strangely shaped chair and we would talk all night and go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. It was just a relationship that I didn't expect because I'm a producer and you don't always become friends with your actors. Usually you don't. And she just became very much like a mother to me. Not that I thought that I even needed one, but she was definitely that. And celebrated every birthday, every Christmas, every Mother's Day, Thanksgiving with her. And likewise, she did a lot for our film, being a co-producer. She was an honorary because she's older, but she was always there and up for any meeting. She's like, I want to go to this meeting, like, okay. So she just was of great value and love. She completely supported us, and I'll always be grateful for her support. And because of it, I am now an elder abuse activist. I fight for her. I fight for other elders. I work with an organization, not that I work with that at their company, but I work hand in hand when necessary with Kasem Cares, which is an elder abuse foundation. It tries to protect the elderly, founded by Carrie Kasem, Julie Belshi, and quite a few people. So it's a very painful part of my life because, you never want to see someone you love go through that kind of pain. You never do. And you feel like you can't do anything. But I went to court, stood up in court, became an interested party, and I kept my promise to my friend.
There you go. Let's switch gears. What does the word success mean to you on a personal level, but also on a professional level?
Well, on a professional level, it means I got the job done. If I can just get some jobs done, for me, I'm kind of a churner. I want to churn out everything that I need to get done. I want to have my to-do list, and then I want to complete it. And for me to get it out and say in the film business, because we also have other companies, tech companies and things like that we're working on. If I can get that out to the public, they can see it, they can view it, I can bring some joy or open up some hearts and minds, then great. I'm happy about that. Success on a personal level, if I can come home and sleep at night and feel like I've done my very best, if I have given to everyone that has helped me, everyone who has worked with me or for me, if I can give to my home, where I live, take care of a good home, husband, my dog, if I can do all of that, if I can do my work and take care of my home, take care of my spiritual life. I'm a transcendental meditator. I'm very serious about that. If I can help a few elderly, any other time, whether it's be Nichelle or someone else, if I can help people, if I can help the homeless, then I feel personally successful. Basically, if I die, not if, but when I die one day, to feel like I've accomplished everything that I was born into this life to do, then I'm happy about it. I'm also, very in touch with my ancestors, and I feel their presence with me a lot. And I know, as a community, especially as a Black community, we talk about our ancestors a lot, and there's a spiritual aspect to that. So I'm really grateful for my life. It's not that I have a perfect life. I don't. I work really hard. I do what I do, but I'm grateful. I've had the opportunities to do the things that I've been able to do. I'm grateful for the successes that I've had. I'm so happy our film's on Amazon. That's nice. I'm happy to keep my word to people, whether it be investors, actors, crew, Nichelle, myself, my family, whatever it may be.
Right.
But success is personal, and to me, it's never like, oh, I have all this money, I'm so great, or I've got this big property. No, it's not about that. Can you die and feel like I did what I needed to do?
Right.
That's so important. That's so important.
Now, one of the successes that came about as a result of Unbelievable was the fact that you did this kind of online premiere slash convention slash variety show. And I thought people should know about that if they hadn't seen it when it went down a couple of months ago. Take me through how that evolved. And you were kind of first through the door with this kind of event, which we now, as a result of the pandemic continuing as long as it has, is becoming a norm. But honestly, you and Unbelievable were there first, right? In many
Yes.
ways.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, we were the first ones out the door to ever put on a virtual premiere in the industry virtually. And it was a quick month and 1 week journey. And I mean, we were up 20 hours, 20 hours or more a day for straight. I think I had 1 day of rest. And I had a special person who happens to be right here who helped with that. Ian, and you helped us so much. Thank you so much
Of
with
course. Thank you. I thought it
all
was
of
a
the
great idea. It was great.
Oh, it was so wonderful just with the publicity and how you were able to to be the host for so many or moderator for so many of the actors and get people through. It was just so wonderful to have you there. It's always wonderful to work with people you know too. I love it. It's
There you
great to
go.
bring new people in too. But I just love it because you and I never got to work together before. And
Right.
so it was like, oh, this is so cool. But it was a journey because it had never been done before. We were working with a company called Addison Interactive, and we didn't know how to do this, but we were so open to the idea because of the technical background we had. So every day we would just, book our actors, figure out how we were going to run the show, what we were going to do. Steve and I like to talk. We banter back and forth so long that yes, it was a 7-hour show. We had 5 minutes breaks, but we just kept talking. And the actors kept coming in.
Right.
They just kept coming in, and the puppet showed up because the lead of our film is also a puppet next to Snoop Dogg. Little Captain Kirk puppet made by the Kyoto brothers, which I know some people here at Afro Comic Con would like, because the Kyoto brothers are awesome with that puppet. They're the same creators who made the Team America World Police puppet. So that's a whole nother trivia story of how incredible it was to work with these puppeteers who had worked on Star Wars, Star Trek. They had done so many different things. It was really cool. But we just got everyone together and we had many, many, many run-throughs. And then finally, day of, it wasn't like it was perfect because it was the first time anyone had done it. But we got through it and people were happy. I was happy our investors joined, our actors, our different people who've been following our Facebook page for a long time. I was just so happy to be able to show the film to them. And you were talking about success. It took us almost 8 years to get this film done. And it's because we couldn't get all of the actors in one place at one time, most of the time. But also it was, who can we get now? Who do we have to recast? Who do we have to, how much more money do we need to raise? We hired Gerald Freed as our composer. He is the last living composer of original Star Trek. He was amazing. He composed our film soundtrack at 88 years old. And he's 92 now and still fired up. So we have a lot of trivia with our film, but the success is people have been waiting to see our film. I can actually say, here it is.
Right.
I was like, here, it's on Amazon. And I had people from UK, from Canada, Australia, Denmark saying, well, I want to make sure I have the link. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure you have that link.
Right.
That's success to me because I've been on that Facebook page and the people who work with me have the marketing people, really wonderful people. They've been on the page too, talking to them. And, it's nice to say, here it is,
Right. And it's still out there for everybody to see. If you want to go see this film, just click on Amazon. It's right there. All right. Yes. So let me ask you another question, Angelique. What are the hidden pitfalls that you would warn young African Americans about as they enter the film industry? From your own experience, what would you advise them? Or yourself, what would you advise younger you even?
Younger me. Oh God, oh no. There's a lot. There's a lot. I would say keep your eyes wide open. stay woke. And I mean stay woke for real. Because as much as you would like to, I'm sure there's a lot of people out here who are just like me. They want to help people. You want to give people the opportunity to move their career forward. I did that for a lot of people, and I'm so happy about it. I hated it when they had to leave and then go and get another job because it was at a TV, at a TV studio but I was happy for them because they learned on my set and they learned how to do their job. And it was so wonderful to see them step up and then become, who they're meant to be. So that's a wonderful thing. But I think for me, I would just say stay woke. And when I mean that, I mean there's going to be a lot of people around you in the entertainment industry, and not all of them are wonderful. Not all of them are good. Most of them are, but some of them aren't, and some of them are using you, and you just have to be really careful and cautious. And I don't mean that in any kind of negative way, because I'm a super positive person, but you can be positive as well as be wise. Be wise. Is that person really looking out for the best interest of your film, your TV show, your script, your idea? You know, make sure that the people around you are the people who you ground with. They're a play brother or a play sister, and those are the ones that came with you, then those are the ones likely should stay with you.
Right. And
Started from the bottom, now we're here with Drake. You gotta you keep those people with you. I say that's the most important thing. Stay professional. As much training as you possibly can get. If you can get Six Sigma trained, which is a program which teaches you best practices, do that. Get as much training as you can in corporate, if you can, and if it's your desire to, because that will then help you to know exactly what to do when you get into the position of an executive producer or unit production manager. You'll have the skills to know what you need to do. That's what I would say. And be diplomatic, and listen to people, but also listen to yourself and go with your gut. Go with your gut. If your gut is telling you to do something, do it. And never give up, never give in. If you believe that you are meant to do something, then you do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, because I'm here to tell you, you absolutely can do it. Trust me. Anything you have on your mind, it's been put on your heart for a reason.
there
Whether
you go.
you want to be religious and you feel that it's God or the universe, or it's something that you came into this life with, you can do it. I'm telling you. And I'll be here rooting for you. I may not even know you, but I'll be like, yeah, you did it.
There you go. And last question, it's kind of a two-parter for you, Angelique. Now
Yeah.
that you've really gained a footing in the entertainment industry as a filmmaker, thanks to Unbelievable, how do you A, build on it, and B, pay it forward?
Well, building on it is, you always, and I say this for myself and for all filmmakers who are starting out, always make sure that you have more than one. A lot of people say more than one gig. I don't even use that word as gig, because nothing that I do is a gig. Everything I do is a real solid project. Make sure that you have more than one thing that you're working on at one time. Don't let someone tell you, and when I say this, it's because people told me this. Oh, you can only do one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Really? So just keep more than one thing on your plate, so that when you're finished with the special thing that you were working on, you can go on to the next thing, because you already have that in play, and then you keep on working on that. And your other question was, what was it? The end?
Paying it forward.
Paying it forward. I just always pay it forward, period. I just do. I mean, I don't really talk about it, because I feel like when you pay it forward, it's just my own personal belief, not everyone's, nor should it be everyone's. I don't usually talk about it, but if I was to say anything about it, is, if I see someone in need, I help them. I may not even have the money, or I may not have, the time to give, but I'll do something for them. It's just something you do.
And I kind of lied. I do have one more question. Talk to me about directing.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Right before COVID, it's my one of my other projects. I can't disclose it, but I feel like it's the reason why I was born, the reason why I'm here. I mean, being a filmmaker and producer, it's wonderful because I got to do a lot of things. I got to create, and I produced music and I produced film, and that was so wonderful. And I stayed in the post houses. I went through the whole journey from coloring and editing and all of that. But this is something else that's so, so super important to me. It has to do with meditation, but it's something that I want to share with the world. I believe that it's why I'm here. But right before COVID really hit, literally it was a week before, I had scheduled a shoot, and it was a pretty aggressive shoot too. I had about, it was about 6 scenes that I had to get shot that I had written, and I solicited help from good friends and good actors, but also my crew. Again, my crew did this for me at a lesser price than they would because they knew what my budget was, which, so people will work with your budget, but they knew what my budget was, and they saw the beauty of this particular project and how powerful it was. So everyone was really happy to do it. We got everything shot in one day. We got to go shot in the gym, and we also shot in my own home, and it was just a wonderful experience. It was my first time writing and directing. Not my first time writing, really, because I've written before, even for Unbelievable. Like, my husband wrote Unbelievable. I added little tiny things in, little here and there, wife stuff.
Right.
But he's the writer of Unbelievable, and I wrote this particular project, and then to direct it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I came from the stage when I was a teenager. That's what I did, and our drama teacher forced us to direct and know backstage and everything. So I come from the stage, and so it was very easy for me. It was very effortless. It's not something that I think I'll be doing all the time, but it is fun. It is fun. So
Great.
I'll do it again, but it'll be on another film, something like that.
There you go. Well, everybody, thank you. Thank you, Angelique. And everybody out there, please consider donating to the Afro Comic Con Moonshot Junior program. Again, that funds young girls of color to go through a 12-month program where they'll learn about tech skills, innovation, product development, and entrepreneurship. And just click the donation link. And of course, you can find more information on the Afro Comic Con website. So thank you again. And thank you, Angelique.
Thank you. And can I just say, I really want to thank Afro Comic Con, Hallie and Mike, for having myself and Ian on board today. It was so sweet of you, and we are honored. And we will be sharing about Afro Comic Con as far and wide as we possibly can. Great for you. We're so excited about your whole event. Just congratulations, and have a wonderful day, all Afro Comic Con people.
Everybody stay safe out there. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks, Ian.